thinking about like someone who's maybe sitting alone right now and maybe doesn't have family during the holidays and feels like the lowest that they can be, or whatever, maybe lost someone recently like in their family, and just the idea of this story and like the grittiness and the like trauma that really came from this story. The idea that at this moment, when you first came in here and talked about like walking into the dark, and that's then where you're ultimately going to find the light. The idea of like this nativity coming around to winter solstice, where it's like the darkest days, but we know like in a couple weeks, it's going to be the brightest days again. And to know that like there's this idea of this nativity and like winter solstice in the end, maybe of 2019 or whatever it may be, where you might be in like the darkest moment of your life right now, but like that means that that's where you have to go to find your light, which maybe seems simple. It's not going to be that house on the hill.
Yeah.
But it's maybe just coming to terms with the fact that your existence here is what might be the most beautiful thing of all.
Yes, it crazily, like, instead of going away from the darkness, is turning the darkness up even more. Because the strange thing is, it'll make sense, I think, in a second, is actually so much depression is connected to this unconscious, often, belief that there's something that would work. If I'd only been with him, it would have been amazing. If I'd only got that job, if only I was healthier, if only I looked a certain way. So every time you do that, you have this fantasy that if only you had this thing, what's called object A or sacred object, everything would be wonderful.
Even if that thing is just happiness itself.
Yeah.
Too.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That's a good point, yeah. So when you turn it up even more, you get to this point where you go, that doesn't exist. And weirdly, that's where you're free. You're going like, oh, I could have been with that person and it could have been good, but it would have still had its struggles, right? I could have had, there's no escape from the deadlocks and antagonisms of reality. And in fact, funnily enough, in physics, we see this, that reality itself is a deadlock. What's called wave-particle duality is the universe has deadlock built into it. In biology, it's called evolution. In mathematics, it's Gödel's uncertainty principle or incompleteness theorem. So you've got, these antagonisms you feel is part of reality. So in a way, when you're in the darkest place, you're experiencing the truth. More so than me, who's running around trying to get into the Christmas spirit, sing Christmas carols and think everything's great. You are in the truth. And if you can embrace that truth, you will find a way into a new type of life, a deeper type of life, a more enriching type of life. But every time we fantasize about something that will fix us, that's what causes all of the problems we can imagine.